Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the broadcast. My name is Justice Knight, and I can't thank you enough for being here. Over my shoulder is an article that is of critical importance you understand. A lot of Americans still deny this exists, but before we get there, I want to ask you once again, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do. Make sure the bell is checked, and also make sure you have YouTube notifications turned on. If you don't want to rely on YouTube to let you know when I post a video, go to justiceknight.com, now right over my shoulder. Make sure you subscribe there, put your email in. You'll get one notification a day as to when I post. 2 ways to get there. Also, below in my YouTube box, you'll see Mayway and Parler and other social medias you need to follow, because you're going to find out very shortly here why we have to get off the mainstream social media networks. But back to the article published by Fast Company. Silicon Valley is building a Chinese-style social credit system. Well, it appears now mainstream media is starting to catch up with something we've been talking about for a long time. It exists, it's real, and I'm going to show you exactly how real it is now become. In China, scoring citizens' behavior is officially government policy. U.S. companies are increasingly doing something similar outside the law. And they are actually transgressing outside the law, because when they tap into our data, our personal data, it's an invasion of privacy. And how they're using that data will make your jaw drop, and it's getting worse every single day. And I'm going to show you how they bridge from capitalism to communism. Like that. But we're going to get there quickly. Have you heard about China's social credit system? It's a technology-enabled, surveillance-based, nationwide program designed to nudge citizens towards better behavior. The ultimate goal is to allow trustworthy to roam everywhere under heaven, while making it hard for the discredited to take a single step, according to the Chinese government. In place since 2014, actually in place since 2010, probably slightly before that when they had the original prototypes. Yes, I understand a lot about social credit score system, and so should you, because it's here in America, and many people don't realize it's already taking form because it's so shrouded in secrecy. Unless you just look in plain sight, because mainstream media normally wants to keep it suppressed. This on foreignpolicy.com. China's Orwellian social credit score isn't real. Blacklist and monitoring systems are nowhere close to Black Mirror fantasies. How dare you guys make all this stuff up? Because, as the article says, China's sweeping data-driven social credit initiative is sounding alarms. In a speech on October 4th, U.S. Vice President Mike Pence described it as an Orwellian system premised on controlling virtually every facet of human life. But there's a small problem. The system doesn't actually exist, at least as it's generally portrayed. No, it absolutely exists beyond how it's generally portrayed. I'm not surprised that myths about the system are spreading, given the shrinking space in China for civil society, rights lawyering, speech, investigative journalism, and religious beliefs. Doesn't sound like there's a problem in China at all. I mean, that shrinking space is no big deal, just religion, freedom of speech, and right to counsel, but we'll skip that. Invasive surveillance capability, and the Chinese Communist Party push to apply big data and artificial intelligence in governance. I had to double check to make sure I was still reading an article on China and not the U.S., because obviously that's coming here very, very quickly. But of course we know that's not true. We know the social credit score in China absolutely exists, and we know now it's being developed here by the big tech titans. This published on Forbes. China's social credit score, utopian big data bliss, or Black Mirror on steroids. See, the key here is big data. Big data is tied around the entire social credit score. Without data and information to feed it, it can't rank you as a Chinese citizen as to what you're going to be allowed to do or not allowed to do. So how is your social credit score determined? We covered many of the variables, but this article says it's by your individual finances, social media activity, credit history, health records, online purchases, tax payments, legal matters, and who you hang out with. In addition to all the images that those 200 million surveillance cameras and facial recognition software provides to the Chinese government on you. So basically, every step you take, every breath you take is watched, it's monitored, and it is monetized. It's monetized to a score that affects your very ability to travel, to date, to do just about anything, even get a loan. So are you starting to figure out that this social credit score quickly financially affects your entire freedom and future? And it is fast and furious coming here. It's why when you see the Hong Kong protesters, we're going to watch this very quick, brief clip. and they should be cheering. Those are protesters cutting down the facial recognition towers because they know what true suppression is. They know what this surveillance power does to a society. Your hats should go off. All support should be behind them because we could be facing this very, very soon. They know the suppression of China. They know what the social credit score leads to. They know what the software does to their day-to-day lives, and they want it gone. It's why you see them cheering loudly as that tower comes down. But we have an even bigger problem here because we have these social giants. Facebook and Silicon Valley are colluding to profit from your personal data. You see, Vice has a little twist on this. It's what people don't see in mainstream media headlines that I point out to you all the time. Profit for your personal data. Now that title seems very innocent, except America understands that we're a capitalist society. So they look, okay, what's the big deal? They should profit from all their work. They should profit from you trading on their platforms. So we really don't understand the full argument being brought up here, except it's not about profit entirely. Oh no, see, they can start to sway, as we found out now, elections. They could sway your very activity, your persuasions based on the data that you're providing it. Because remember, every time you plug into that phone, you give it pictures of what you do. You're giving it pictures of what you're eating. You're giving it locations of where you're at. You're showing it who your friends are. You're showing it exactly all your affiliations, if it be religious or political. You're feeding the beast that will become far beyond even what the Chinese system is. And I think that's where a lot of people miss the boat, because our tech titans are by far more powerful. This published on the New York Times, as Facebook raised a privacy wall, it carved an opening for tech giants. Internal documents showed that the social network gave Microsoft, Amazon, Spotify, and others far greater access to people's data than it had disclosed. So it now went past the point of profit, because now it weaponized that data. And it's doing a phenomenal job at weaponizing our data. It's completely brought in our younger generation. I'm going to show you how it's done that, because this has been predicted for a very, very long time. This article all the way back in August of 2017, what does it say? Silicon Valley siphons our data like oil, but the deepest drilling has just begun. Very prophetic. This published on The Guardian to exactly what's happening today. The precursors were there. It was talking at this point in time about Amazon and Facebook and how they were starting to dig all our information, our purchase history, our social history, who we associated with, building this pyramid of destruction that would eventually lead to where we're at today. They were spot on their analysis. The one thing that a lot of people missed, however, was the fact is how they were getting us addicted to providing them information. They made social media a gaming platform. This article published on, again, The Guardian, the machine always wins. What drives our addiction to social media? If social media is an addictive machine, the addictive behavior is closest to gambling. A rigged lottery. Every gambler trusts in a few abstract symbols, the dots on a dice, numerals, suits, red or black, the very symbols that sit on the slot machine. We feed the data to see what's going to happen. It's quantifying our use existence. Without thumbs up or clicks or views, they feel as if their very existence is somehow less. So they need to feed the machine more, provide it more information and insight. And those very same machines that are now going to start quantifying this credit score is going to lead to the ultimate authoritarian government. Except now, as this tweet says, authoritarianism gamified. They've made the very Orwellian system a game for our children. And they're playing right into its hand. Back to the Fast Company article, Beijing maintains 2 nationwide lists. One called a black list, one called a red list. It exists. You don't think it exists? We'll just show you right here. Here's the website. Go up to the top, and down here, it will tell everybody exactly what your social credit score is, and that will determine what loans you get, who your friends are, and don't worry, if that's not bad enough, they'll out you. They'll out you on WeChat. They'll out you on TikTok. They'll put your picture up saying exactly how bad of a citizen you are. They took an executive out of a mistake who had gotten caught jaywalking, put her up on a side of a building because she transgressed the laws. One of their top executives, by the way. Public shaming is also a part of the Chinese social credit system. Pictures of blacklisted people in one city were shown between videos on TikTok in a trial, and the addresses of blacklisted citizens were shown on a map on WeChat. So if you don't agree with the government rules and you get a low score, they'll just show everybody where you live. So if that other person wants to get their credit score up, just imagine the wonderful Orwellian implications of that. But the scarier part is 80% of Chinese citizens, at least according to their survey, somewhat or strongly approve of the social credit system because they're afraid if they don't approve, their social credit score will go down. It's a catch-22. Once it exists, you can't take it back. And once it exists, everybody will agree because they need their social credit score to live, breathe, eat, travel. Do you start to understand how bad these actual events are and why we must stop them here? As the article now says, it can happen here. Many Westerners are disturbed by what they read on China's social credit system, but such systems, it turns out, are not unique to China. A parallel system is developing in the United States, in part as the result of Silicon Valley and technological industry user policies, and in part by surveillance of social media activity by private companies. Here are some of the elements of America's growing social credit system. First, insurance companies. That's right, already using the data. The New York Department of Financial Services announced early this year that life insurance companies can base premiums on what they find on your social media. The score is here, but that's not the only example. Patron scan. This little device here, when you go to your bar or local casino, you see, they can load in, and if somebody doesn't like what you did at the bar because maybe you were a little upset, maybe you had a bad day, maybe you said a bad word, maybe you accidentally bumped into somebody, and they determine to put a bad score in Patron Scan, everybody who has Patron Scan in their bar or casino, when you go ahead and swipe your ID on the way in, first, it will show you if it's truly you, and second, it will tell you that everybody who disagreed with you, no matter where you were at, imagine if you get a bad enough score, there's nowhere you're going to be able to go. Because your social credit, your Patron Scan score is too low. Exists here already in America. Bars and clubs, dispensaries, hotels, casinos. General manager at one of the nightclubs saying it's the most amazing system anywhere. You see, my friends, it's already here. Uber and Airbnb, we've talked about this before. Blacklisted from Uber, blacklisted from Airbnb, who now brags that they're up to 6 million listings in its systems. 6 million places you can't go if you get a bad score on Airbnb. And don't tell me the social credit score doesn't exist. Don't tell me blacklists don't already exist. This one was exposed by Project Veritas on Google. These are websites that you can't watch because they were bad. Imagine the livelihoods taken away because a blacklist already exists. And WhatsApp, thank goodness it's not strong here yet, but it's coming. You could be banned from communication apps. This in most of the world is your entire social media. It's your messaging, it's your phone, it's your electronic communication, it's your payment system. You can technically be banned from this platform. Let's say that 90% of these societies use WhatsApp in some way, shape, or form. You're banned from the primary method of trade and communication if your score dips too low. So what's wrong with the social credit score? If you don't understand by now how much big tech has a major dark hand in the pot of creating a social credit score, I don't know what else I can show you. It's here in full force. It's why I say we need to pull off the mainstream media social networks who are quantifying our very existence, saying it's profit, but it has nothing to do with profit. It has everything to do with control, because once they hold your data and they have you addicted to the very systems and they control the younger generation, they can start to maneuver and manipulate through their algorithms outcomes of things that you can't even fathom. They can control your health insurance premiums. They can control that loan value for the house you want to buy. They'll make sure that next auto loan you have is either achievable or unachievable. Controlling, my friends, because of big data, every facet of your life. So stop feeding the beast. Join me on the alternate platforms. Join me on Parler. Join me on Mayway. And coming soon is one of the biggest developments that I can possibly announce to you. And it will change how we're able to present this information. And when I'm running full steam at it, I need additional support. If you have the means to do that, please do. On my main website, justicenight.com, you'll find all the platforms. I can't thank you enough for being here once again. Justice Night, Godspeed, and God bless. Until next time, signing out.